Hello and welcome to the Socially Ambitious Podcast. I'm your co-host Liv.
I'm your co-host Jess.
And I'm your co-host Anna.
On this show, we'll be delving into all things social media, delegation, and influencer marketing.
Join us for insightful conversations on mastering work-life balance, pursuing your passions, and crafting the life you've always dreamed of.
Get ready for actionable tips and empowering discussions.
Hi guys, it's Jess here. Today we have such a good episode with my good friend Kate. You might know her on TikTok at Kate+8feet. She is my favorite comfort creator as well as a couple content creator. She makes content with her boyfriend Will, who I also love very dearly. And in this episode, we're kind of just kicking it. We're talking all things like content creation, creating content with a partner, and kind of like what the inside look of that is, because I know that when I see a couple content creators, I'm always so interested on what like actually goes on behind the scenes, because a lot of the time, you know, it can come off really inauthentic, but I think Kate and Will do a really good job of making sure it's as organic as possible while also, you know, keeping like a healthy relationship dynamic. So we're going to get all into that. We're also just going to kind of talk about content creation, delegation, all those fun things. But before we get into the episode, I want to do a little catch up with you guys. As you can tell, I'm obviously solo, so it's just me and Kate this episode. And it's still like so foreign to me to be like just on here talking to myself, because I'm used to having Olivia with me. But I hope you guys are really enjoying the new format with, you know, Olivia doing some episodes, Anna doing some episodes, and us kind of toggling. We're always open to hearing your guys' feedback, so definitely let us know how you are vibing with the new format. But aside from that, this episode is going to come out on Monday. Right now it's Thursday, so right now I'm getting ready to pack for Olivia's bachelorette this weekend. So I am so excited. I'm sure once we're back, her and I will do an episode and kind of fill you guys in on how that is, but we are just so excited. We're gonna have such a fun weekend. I'm literally like, I just lost my passport for like the last 4 hours. I could not find it. I turned my apartment upside down, and naturally it was where it always is, where I checked 4 times and I just overlooked it. So had a panic attack for no reason, but that's fine. Got the passport and we are ready to go. The girls will be boogieing this weekend. You guys will have seen it all on socials throughout the weekend, but we'll be sure to pipe in and give you guys an update afterwards. And that's about it. I hope you guys had a lovely Valentine's Day last week, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. We love you guys. All right, guys, we are here in person with my bestie, Kate, at Kate+8feet. You guys might know her and her man on The Talk because they are in the cutest little relationship, and they are America's sweetheart TikTok couple. But so happy to have her with me. She's in my house right now. Say hi, Kate.
Hey.
And we are going to jump into all things TikTok, and I honestly would love to kind of even get into like the intricacies of like creating content with your partner and kind of what that's like. So before we dive into all that, kind of give us a little background on who you are and kind of what got you to this place.
Okay, cool. Hey guys. So pretty much like everyone else, I feel, I started TikTok during quarantine. So I started with music stuff. I was sharing playlists and whatnot. And then I kind of just started talking. Like I just started making random videos and having fun with it. And it was just a hobby. And then after quarantine ended, I was like, oh shit, like I need a real job. So I started working for a TikTok agency where I was doing it for a bunch of different brands. And then I worked for another TikTok agency where I was doing the same thing. And then, but at the same time, I was growing my own following. So I got to a place where I was like, all right, I think I can do this full time. I hope. So I kind of took a little leap of faith. I was actually very scared. But I did that and started doing it full time. And around that time, Will and I started dating. And he was also making TikTok, so we started doing it together. And yeah, now here we are doing it every day, you know?
And tell the people a little bit about, like, even previous to kind of jumping into TikTok, like what your background is and how you even kind of like landed in LA.
So I was in college at South Alabama doing biomedical sciences, and I was pre-med. I was going to be a doctor. I took the MCAT. I was doing research, and I kind of just got to a point, like everyone was applying for medical school and I just wasn't doing it. I wasn't applying. And I was like, probably a reason for that. And I took a trip. I was actually visiting this guy I was dating in Vancouver, and I was like, I'm going to stop by LA on the way back. And I had such a good time. Like, it was the first time I felt like, this sounds so sad. It was the first time I felt actually happy in a really, really long time. And so I just got it in my head. I was like, okay, I'm going to move to LA. And so I get back and I tell my parents, my grandparents, my friends, everyone, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to medical school. And to my surprise, they were all like, okay, cool, that's fine. What are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to try to move to LA. So I moved to Miami first for modeling, because I was like, I got to make money somehow. So I guess I'm going to do that. And a lot of people kind of start in Miami and then go to LA. And that's how we met in Miami. Jess actually doesn't remember, but we met in Miami at some like boat party or something. So I did that, and I didn't love Miami. And then I was just supposed to visit LA to get an agency here. And then I told my agency, I was like, actually, I'm just going to move to LA. And they were really not happy about that at all. But I've just always like loved it here, and I just knew I wanted to be here. So I did that, modeled a little bit on and off for a few years, had a bunch of other like random jobs, and now I've been here for almost 7 years, which is crazy. Like 7 years is a long time.
That is actually so crazy. And it's like, I think that not a lot of people know this, I think, but like Kate is also the reason that I moved to LA, because I would always come visit her out here and I would always stay with her. And Kate actually lived in like the building that I currently live in. And I remember one day she was like, oh yeah, by the way, like one of the units in my building is available. She's like, you should move in, LOL. And I was like, I will, LOL. So I ended up like literally renting one of the units in the building, and then she started dating Will, and then she moved out of the building. So like at no point were we actually neighbors, but so fun regardless. And here we are. And so you met Will, and then I'm curious, because you guys both obviously had your own TikToks, your own, you know, like niches going on. How did you guys like approach the conversation of like creating content together, if it was a conversation or if it was even just something that kind of like came really naturally?
So I, like, even before TikTok, with Instagram, whatever, any person I was dating or like friend in my life, they were going to be on my social media. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just kind of how I've always been. Like I look back and I think about all my boyfriends, like they've all been posted on Instagram, like whatever. And so I think it kind of just happened naturally. I'm trying to think. Our first video was like something really random, and I think I just recorded it just for fun. Like it was trying what's it called, like sea moss or something. So I was like, oh, this will be funny to get his reaction. And
I remember that.
Yeah, right. And so I just like
you recorded me doing sea moss too.
Yeah. So I was like kind of doing it to everyone, but I recorded and just like got his reaction, and I didn't even post it for a while. But there wasn't really a conversation. I think it kind of just happened naturally because we were both making videos and we were together like all the time. So it kind of just happened naturally. I don't know. Should that have been a conversation? Like, what would you do with your partner?
Well, I was only asking if it was a conversation mainly because like I know you guys like were creating content like separate, so I didn't know if that was something that you guys like discussed or if you kind of just, you know, kind of, I think it's better that it came organically. But I think that what a lot of people like, you know, what they see on social media and probably like the lingering question in their head is like, one, is it authentic? And like, does it like come organically to you, or does any of it feel like kind of like a toll? Like, does kind of like making your relationship into something that you do monetize off of, like how does that kind of like affect your guys' relationship? Do you feel like it makes you stronger and like more of like a powerhouse, or do you feel like you kind of have to like then balance things out a bit more?
Yeah, I think that working together with your partner, I think for me, that's kind of like a make or break thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't think it takes a toll, but it is still like work, right? And one of my like bad traits with this, like this is a job, right? And so like if I'm not in the mood, I don't want to record anything. Like as far as TikTok goes, like one day I'll post 10 TikToks and then I won't post for like a week. So as far as it goes, like with both of us doing videos together, it's like we're both in the mood to do it and we're just being like silly and goofy. And I think a lot of people, and like I see like other like more couple accounts, I feel like they wake up and they're like, all right, what video can we do today to go viral? And like I can just tell, and I really don't like that. You know what I mean? So I think that's why it works for us, is because it's like, all right, we're doing this because it's fun and not because it's like we need to be doing this. Of course, if we have to record like an ad or something, that's a different story. But I think that goes for like all social media stuff. Like if you're doing it and you're actually having fun doing it, that's going to come across. And yeah, I don't know. It doesn't take a toll just because we're not like forcing anything. And I think that's where it probably gets sticky, is if you're like trying to force something, you know?
Yeah. Now, is anything staged? We gotta know. Like if I didn't know, obviously guys, and like to the audience, I know the answers to these questions, and like I love Will, Kate's boyfriend, and like obviously like love them, like just so that's like, you know, out there. But if I was a listener, this is like what I would want to know, you know?
Yeah, so for the most part, no, but let's say I'm doing a video and it's like my boyfriend helping me pick out my outfit or something. Let's say that he does something or like says something and it just like isn't like in the frame correctly or something, he'll like do it again. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not like, hey, like say this, whatever. But let's say he like says something and like stumbles on his words, or it's not like I said, in frame or whatever, then he'll be like, oh wait, let me do that again. So it is a natural thing, but maybe sometimes it's like redone after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like you guys don't do this, but like my fucking pet peeve with like content creator couples is the fucking phone in the car. When they like have the phone in the car and they're like, testing to see if my boyfriend realizes that I, you know, smell different or something, you know? And like they pretend like the boyfriend doesn't see the fucking phone. Oh my God. I like, let's be so fucking for real right now.
Yeah, that's my pet peeve too. Like seeing things that you know are staged and the person sees the camera and they're acting like they're not seeing the camera is, oh, it really like hurts. It like hurts me inside to see that. So no, like nothing like that, because that I really don't like the fake stuff on social media. And like, of course, a lot of stuff is fake that people post, but like when it's really obvious too that it's fake, and then you see other people, like it'll have like 1 million likes or something, and you're like, 1 million people thought this was real? Am I like, what? Yeah, I hate that.
No, and I get it. Like sometimes you can just look at something and be like, okay, this is just like feel good content. Like it's cute. It's supposed to be wholesome, whatever. Like, and if that's like your niche, it's like, I don't know, peddle to the masses of like people who, like it's going to get posted on Facebook and all the moms are going to be like, so precious. And they're going to like send you like the TikTok later, you know? Then, you know, I support everyone getting their bag, but like, be so fucking for real. Like I would just hope that they don't like go on a podcast. They're like, yeah, it's 100% real. Never faked it anything a day in my life. But that's good to know, and that's how I honestly like figure you did it. And even like any like content creation in general, like it's curated. You know what I mean? Like it can be authentic and it can be organic, but it is curated content. Like it's like, you know, things are framed a certain way, things are said a certain way, and like it's really great if you can like catch a fully genuine moment on camera, but you know, when it comes down to it, it's like you are creating something to appeal to people.
Yeah. And I think too, like let's say Will's like getting my reaction to something, obviously I see the phone and I know I'm being recorded. So but it is gonna be like my actual reaction. I guess I'm like used to it by now. But like also I'm like not a good actress at all. Like if I had to like fake a reaction, like I actually can't do that. Like that's just not in my wheelhouse to like fake a reaction. Like let's say like we'll like record something and like it doesn't work or whatever. I can't like redo a reaction.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, you missed it, babes. Like it's just not happening, you know?
Yeah, like as like your Valentine's Day box yesterday. Like obviously that was a genuine reaction, you know, but imagine he like missed it and he had to put the butterflies back in the fucking box and be like, gotta do it again. No, that would be actually my worst nightmare. Actually, and you know, funny enough, I have dated, you know, my fucking fair share of content creators. And I remember I was dating this TikToker and we were doing a crumble taste test. And we were like doing it. And I was like, yeah, it's like, you know, obviously I wasn't like oh yeah, like I wasn't like freaking out about these cookies. Like they were good, but I was giving a genuine fucking reaction. And I remember he like stopped it and was like, yeah, do you think that you could like be like more excited or like blah blah blah? And I was like, no. Do you want me to like jump for fucking joy? Like I'm not gonna like fake something. And I just like, and that was no, seriously, and that was the start of the downfall. And you know, just for the audience's pleasure, that man did end up well, when we broke up, I broke up with him. When I was crying on the couch and this man looked over at me and said, my TikTok is popping the fuck off right now.
What was the TikTok that was popping off? I'm just curious.
It was probably, so this guy, honestly, like low-key piece of shit. A piece of shit to me. Like I'm sure not a piece of shit in like life and like how he like fully treats others is like, you know, not a terrible person. Well, but he would make content like he was like a fitness guy and he would make content and he'd like come on and be like, if like you need to get to the gym right now, you fat fuck. And then he'd be like, I say this because I love you. You know what I mean? So it was one of those videos for sure. Wasn't my fake crumble reaction video, that's for sure.
I think too, you and I are similar. Like we can inside be like so happy and joyous about something, but sometimes our faces just don't match. Yeah, so if someone was like, could you like be a little more like just thinking about, okay, hold on, let me try. Present me with something.
You just won the lottery.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on, let me try. Oh my God, really?
No, you would never do that.
I would never do that. I would literally be like, no way, sick.
Yeah, literally. That is, you, like, even that reaction, I can't imagine anything that would make you do that, honestly. I can't picture you jumping for joy, in fact. I feel like if Will proposed to you, you wouldn't jump for joy. You'd be like, oh my God. Like, that's it.
Like, I might shed like a tear. Yeah, but I'm not going to be like, I don't know. I'm just not super overly expressive, you know?
No, same. I don't know the last time I jumped for fucking joy. But maybe this is an issue, actually. Yeah. Maybe I should be jumping for joy. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be really happy inside sometimes, but it just doesn't, I'm not like outwardly like, like insanely excited. But kind of moving on from that, you guys launched your podcast, Beauty and the Greek, which, by the way, guys, you should absolutely go listen to. How has the podcast journey been? I've listened to a couple episodes, but how has that been for you guys? Like, what do you talk about? Kind of take us through the pod.
So because most of our content is like relationship stuff, we talk a lot about that, just like different things and like tips for relationship stuff. We also just like shoot the shit. Podcasting is way harder than I thought.
Bro, I try to tell everyone this.
Yeah, so we were doing an episode a week and just like the planning, the editing, all of that. And so we stopped doing it for a bit and we're going to start back. We hired an editor and I think it's just going to be more, it'll still be kind of about relationship stuff, but honestly, I think just more casual and also having more people on. So yeah, I'm excited to like restart it. And because for me personally, my favorite podcasts to listen to aren't super serious. Like they can have a like niche or a topic or whatever that's serious, but you know, they're still like like just not taking things too seriously. And so I kind of want to like move more in that direction. Like, you know, it's like not that serious, but you can still talk about serious stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like what you guys have is good because like people are going to tune in because they just simply want to hear you guys and like your take on things versus like you're going to like a financial podcast because you only give a fuck about like finances, you know what I mean? And when we first started our podcast, like it was a lifestyle podcast, we kind of talked about everything like dating and like sex, and like we would do fucking conspiracy theories and like all the fun stuff. Yeah, it's so fun. And then I mean like as we evolved, we, you know, then started talking about like female entrepreneurship and women in business because we had just launched Mood, and like, you know, even with the podcast, you know, you like the podcast is a business in and of itself. It's like this whole thing. And then, you know, with launching Socially Ambitious, we were able to like pivot again. And I feel like that's also what's so fun is that you guys control it. Like you guys can do whatever you want and you guys can talk about whatever you want. But with that being said, when you guys talk about dating and stuff, do you guys feel like, I'm sure you guys have, you know, your own like relationship, obviously, you know, it's outside of social media, outside of like the fun things that we see. How do you guys feel like about like when you're handling relationship stuff and obviously giving relationship advice? Do you guys feel like you have a really, really solid foundation that you guys are building off of? Like what are kind of some of the like premises and like the parts of like the foundation of your relationship that you feel like has inspired you to share and speak about and give advice to others?
I think that, you know, obviously every relationship is different, but like what we value in relationships is very aligned. So we kind of focus on that. And then like we'll answer questions from people, and just I think sometimes it's like easy to have like an objective view on someone else's relationship. So we'll talk about that. But we've also like we've obviously like put a lot of emphasis on our relationship. So we've worked through a lot of stuff, and we think like those things can really help people because everyone honestly with relationships kind of have like the same issues. Like it's not too far out of like the bell curve, you know, especially like getting questions. It's like very similar things. And a lot of the questions are also about like dating and relationships, or like dating outside of relationships. And I think that's easy to look at like with an objective opinion. And like, I don't know. I just think that, like I said, we've like worked through a lot of stuff, and like everyone has similar issues. Like I read a lot of books about relationships and whatnot, and I like genuinely like think about these things, and we talk about these things so much that we're like, all right, like this is obviously an interest. We can like speak about this. And, you know, of course it's all like our opinion, you know, like everyone can have different things. Like you may value like loyalty in a relationship and that's your top thing, or you may value like just having someone to hang out. Like it can all be different, you know? So, and I think that's interesting too. Just how people have very different takes on like what they care about in relationships. And honestly, like learning about that too and talking about that is really interesting because like, I don't know, like I have my things that I care about so much in relationships, and other people may not care at all. Mm-hmm. And I think it's cool to like look at it kind of from every perspective, because like I'm still learning too. Like I don't know everything, obviously. Like Will doesn't know everything. So just like kind of going through all that stuff. And that's why we want to start talking to more people too, and like hearing other people's takes on relationships and like what they really care about. Does that make sense? Yeah.
And how do you feel like you said that you feel like you guys have like, you know, really similar like priorities in a relationship. Mm-hmm. How do you feel like you approach conflict? And I mean, obviously you guys have conflict, but like, what does that like look like? And I'd even love it if you could like recall like a recent like argument and how you guys kind of like handled it and went about it.
I think with I think you have to learn how to argue with someone. And like whether it's a relationship or a friendship or whatever, I think when it comes to conflict, you have to be very open to like seeing the other person's side. And that honestly for me is a little bit in the past it's been difficult, but like I'm getting better, you know, but because when you're arguing with someone, like you always think that you're right and you're not taking into account like what they meant, you know, or like the other person's intentions. Yeah. So I think when it comes to conflict, I'm trying to think of like a recent one. Oh yeah. Will said something to me and it wasn't what he meant, and I also knew it wasn't what he meant. Yeah. But I was like, I know you didn't mean this, but you said this and this is how it made me feel. And like he was like, oh my God, I didn't mean that. I was like, I know, but this is how it made me feel. And then we just like talked about why and yada yada. And he's like, all right, like I won't say things like that because I know it hurts your feelings even if I didn't mean that. And so I think like, and even like Will bring stuff to me. He'll be like, oh, you did this and it made me feel this way. And instead of me being like, well, I didn't mean that, like that's not like, you know, just being like, okay, like this is how you feel, this is how I made you feel, I'm really sorry, like let me adjust my behavior. And Will's also very good about like, if I bring something up, he adjusts it and like actually changes it and like it doesn't happen again. And I don't know, I don't think I've had that in the past with dating other people. Like I'll bring something up and they keep doing it because it's like not their intention. But I think just being willing to be like, all right, this is how this person feels regardless of if it's what I meant, and then adjusting your behavior. And that's kind of like, you just have to like learn each other and each other's like triggers and like not trigger the other person, you know?
And do you feel like his obsession with you has, because guys, if you see these two in person, it's like I'm sick to my stomach. I'm like kicking, screaming, crying, throwing up. And like, this is a dead ass question. Like, do you feel like because of like how obsessed he is with you and how enamored he is with you, it kind of like sets the foundation for like you're solid, you know? Because I feel like a lot of the times, like when people argue, their different attachment styles like come out for sure. And like for me, like I have an anxious attachment style. So like if I argue, like I don't know, like I immediately get triggered that like I'm gonna be like abandoned and left, which, and then some people, like if they argue, they're extremely avoidant. So one, do you feel like your attachment styles have anything to do with that? And two, do you feel like his obsession like gives you a sense of security almost, because like you guys know that you're, and of course like I know that you're equally as obsessed with him, but like do you feel like that gives you guys a sense of security to kind of like truly like be yourselves and kind of like lay your guns down, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I think that one thing that Will always says, like I said, if we get into like a little argument or whatever, he's like, at the end of the day, like I like trust you and like your opinion and your emotions. So it's like, he's like, I love you. And so like, if I did something that made you feel this way, like I don't need to be like, no, I didn't do it, because I trust like you and your opinion. And I think that's what makes me feel like very safe, because I can express how I feel without the other person being like, well, I like didn't mean it that way. Does that make sense? And I think like the obsession thing, like it definitely does make me feel safe. I'm a little more like on the avoidant side, I'd say, but he's like very secure. So it's like, all right, this is a person like I can trust, they trust me, like I can open up and like it's okay, you know?
Yeah, and 100%, like kind of even with like the love thing, I think that that's so important, because like I think a lot, like unfortunately, and like I think we've all like been there, like we've been in relationships with people who like have said that they loved us, but like truly I just don't think know actually what love is, and like, you know, like, or like their perception of love, their idea of love is to be more like controlling and like, you know, but I think that what you said is so important. Like he loves you and he trusts you. So no matter like what your experience is, he like it's immediately validated because he trusts you as a person. And I feel like that's like so important, and it's especially important when you guys work together, because like you know that each other's intent is never to like, you know, try to like micromanage a situation, control a situation, or like be manipulative. Like you're genuinely just like looking out for each other's best interests. And even like with Olivia and I like running you know, multiple businesses and like with the podcast, like I feel like that kind of sums it up perfectly, because like of course it's not like you're without like conflicts and arguments and things of that nature, but like as long as you both know, like trust each other, like nothing else really like even matters, because it's like we know each other's intentions. We know that like, you're not just stirring up shit to stir up shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they trust that like if you are bringing something to their attention, then it's like it's valid. Like, you know, because they trust your experience.
Yeah, exactly. And like also I like don't like conflict. If I'm bringing something up, it's like it's important. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that's like probably the most important thing. Like if you're in an argument or a discussion, like just trusting that the other person, like trusting like their opinions and their emotions, and knowing that like it's not for nothing. Like there's a reason you're having this conversation. It's not just like to stir shit up or whatever. Like I don't know, I couldn't be with a person that just like does stuff just to like get a reaction or like stir things up. That's my like worst nightmare actually. Yeah. I have a question for you because
okay.
So you're a full-time content creator. You have Socially Ambitious. You have the podcast.
Yeah.
How do you keep all your shit together? Like, how do you maintain a schedule? And you also work out, like, you're on top of your shit. And I personally, like, I can be on top of my shit and then something throws me off and then I'm thrown off for like weeks. How do you do that?
Well, I'm honored that you think I'm on top of my shit because I spent some time. I don't know. Things have been a little bit slower lately. So, and I don't know, not even slower. I've just had a little bit more time for myself. And I don't know. I feel like I think it happens with like years like of experience and kind of doing it and like kind of slowly building up. Like I feel like I could even like take on another project right now and like be happy about it. I feel like I just kind of thrive with having to do a lot of different things and kind of like not having like the same day over and over and over again. And obviously like, you know, I have incredible teams that I've put in place with each company that like has allowed me to be so hands off. Like, you know, with the podcast, we have an editor and then we have a podcast manager who like gets every episode live and does all the, you know, little details. And then we have, you know, the social media manager who gets all the posts up and all of that. And then, you know, even in my day-to-day life, like I have, you know, Olivia and I both have like 5 or 6 assistants, like each. And we share a lot of those assistants, but, you know, we have an admin assistant who does all of our inboxing. And then we have an in-person content creation assistant who, like, if we like need help shooting something, they'll come help us shoot. And then we both have a content creation assistant who like will send videos and they'll get those videos live for us, edit our content for us. And then we have a Poshmark assistant who will like handle all of our Poshmark. So it really like the power is genuinely in delegation. And like, I think that what a lot of entrepreneurs kind of don't realize as they're like trying to scale, especially like influencers and content creators, because they have like a sort of imposter syndrome typically, is that you can like hire help even if it's 2 hours a week. Like there's someone for everything. And like, you know, I think launching Socially Ambitious has obviously, you know, really opened our eyes to that. It's like some people want to work 5 hours a week and then do that for multiple influencers, or they're like working a full-time job and they just want like the extra help. So like the help is there and like ready to like help. I think it's just, you know, people realizing that they have access to that and can delegate. And like you don't even have to delegate like if you're burnt out and like you want to like you need to get stuff off your plate. Like you can just delegate if you like want to like enjoy life more. And like I have to remind myself of that when I have a couple hours in between like errands or meetings, I'll be like sitting there and like sometimes I'll feel guilty and then I'm like, this is like why I delegated, like because I wanted to like enjoy life and like not be rushed to do a million different things. You know what I mean? So like what does your assistant do for you in terms of your personal like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that? Can you walk me through that? Why, yes, I can. So I have the admin assistant who does all inbox stuff. So like she handles like all of my collabs. She's kind of like a manager. Oh, and I forgot to mention I have another assistant who just does brand pitching every month. So she pitches like 100 to 110 brands per month, and that's all she does. And then my admin assistant handles all of like the follow-ups, the negotiations, the invoicing, all of that. And then my content creation assistant is who gets stuff up on TikTok for me. So I actually have a home decor TikTok, and that's what she spearheads right now. So we have a shared iCloud album where like I'll upload like content randomly, and then she just like finds trends that like match with like the aesthetic of the TikTok that I'm going for. And like she just does it herself. Like she just like posts whatever she wants. And she actually posted a really good one like yesterday or something. It got like good amount of views and a lot of comments, and I was like, slay. Like I didn't do anything. This is content that she's had for months. So like I rarely update the folder, and like still she's pushing stuff out there, and like the account is just like growing by itself. And then when I want to take it more seriously, I can. And I think for Olivia, she also edits like B-roll style content. So like, you know, Olivia will have like a bridal folder because obviously she's, you know, in her bridal era, and her, you know, our content creation assistant will find trends that like work for that and then get them live. Yeah, no, it's like honestly so genius.
That's amazing. Because I spend so much time like going through all the videos and stuff that I have looking for trends. Like, and so I'm scrolling for hours, and then I get distracted, and then I'm like on like tarot TikTok, and then it just really like in astrology, and I'm like, this is not, I'm not working. Like I'm just consuming so much content, and like it's weird because even though I make content, like I don't really care to like watch a bunch of content. You know what I mean? Maybe just because it feels like work now. There are like a few people that I'll like catch up on or whatever, but I don't love like scrolling and just watching endless content. Do you feel that way ever?
I feel like it makes sense for you because like you're like your own like creator, you know what I mean? And like your content isn't influenced by trends or other creators. Like you've like always done your own sort of thing. You've never been like, oh, Alex Earl is blowing up on doing Get Ready With Me's, let me do that. And yeah. Yeah, same. I like low-key started one yesterday for Valentine's Day, and I was like, this does not offer anything. Why am I doing this?
I have something to say about those. Okay, so when you're watching a Get Ready With Me, it seems like they're just like talking and getting ready. They're like pausing in between everything. So they're like thinking of everything they're saying, pausing it, like
Doing a few steps, coming back.
Yeah, like it's not like you and I sitting here having a conversation, and it seems free flowing, but it's like they're like, okay, get ready with me to go to the mall. Stop. And then they like get their stuff, and they're like, yesterday I did it. Like it's like, I don't know, to me, like I'm watching them, and in my brain I'm like, oh, they're just like talking. But thinking about the process of actually doing it, it's so much like start and stop and then editing that's a lot. I hate those. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I don't mind watching them, like if they're entertaining or if someone's doing like a story time, but then you try to fucking record one and it's like, wow. No. Like respect, because then I like end up fucking up my makeup because I'm like, I've forgotten 5 steps because I'm trying to multitask right now.
Yeah, like it would take me like 2 hours to do my makeup rather than like 15 minutes if I was doing that. And also I lose my train of thought. Yeah. I'm like, what was I even talking about? And now this is boring and I don't care. Now I'm pissed and I don't even want to go where I'm supposed to go anymore. Like,
I think something that I struggle with is like I have like stories to tell because like, you know, life has been semi-interesting, but then I'm like, for what? You know what I mean? Like digital footprint. Like I actually did share a story one time about a trip that I was talking to you about recently, and I like it started blowing up, and I was like, did I even want this to blow up? Like, do I want to be known for this? I deleted it. And I was like, what? Like, why am I even talking? What am I saying? You know what I mean? And like, why? For what?
I've done that so much. I've even had like videos start to blow up that like aren't even that bad. Like, and it'll be a story time about something, but it's not even that bad or that embarrassing, but it starts to blow up. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I'm being perceived. And I've like taken those videos down when they would have done well. But I'm just like, how much do I really want to share? And when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, it's fine. And I like post it. And then like I see like numbers going up and I'm like, oh, but like I really admire the TikTokers that like will literally just set their phone down and just start talking and then post it. I'm like, yeah, you're so brave. And they'll post like 10 or 15 a day. Like I like, you know, my New Year's resolution is to like not shut the fuck up and just like if I think about something, just do it. But that's scary. And it's like it's hard and like you could like say one thing, then all of a sudden it's like you're out, you know.
I like And the thing is, like, I don't know, maybe you feel like this as well, like, but like I'll go to say something. I'll feel really strongly about something. I'll go and I'll say it and I'll be like, this doesn't even fucking matter. Like it, like nothing matters. And then I like think about like the, like what people could say, like to the opposite of it, like the adverse of it. Like I'll be like, you know what? I really fucking hate when people walk slow in front of me, or like I'll like be pissed about it and I'll be like, I'll rant about it really quick. And then I'll be like, people deserve to walk slow. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll like talk myself out of this, like out of whatever I'm like feeling passionate about, because I'm like, nothing matters. Like none of this matters. Like what are we even fucking talking about?
I have that too. And a lot of times I'll like do something, or like I'll make a video, whatever, and then it's like the end of the day and I get so existential. I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like no one needed to hear that. Like what if like something that I said, what if that made them feel bad about their lives and I didn't even mean to do that, but now they feel, and I'm just, it's like this whole thing. And I don't know, I get, like I said, the people that can just literally go put their phone down, start talking, post it, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And also like you're allowed to like change your mind. Like you can post a video the next week with a completely different viewpoint, but in my brain it's like, if I say this, this is concrete. Like I can never change my mind. I can never, but like I love following creators that like over the years you've seen them and their personality and their opinions change so much. Like that's so cool to me, and I would love to do that, but I get scared.
And like, and not even to be like fucked up or like to be on like a sort of high horse or like emotional intelligence hierarchy, but I do wonder if it requires a lower level of like emotional intelligence, or rather like maybe self-awareness, or I don't know, or maybe it's just like that they're young and like they just like haven't thought about it. But I do like genuinely like wonder about it, because I'm like on one hand I'm like, I wish I had that, and then on the other hand I'm like, do I want that? You know what I mean? But watching, I do find it really interesting to like watch these content creators grow up. And I think that what you said about like people changing their minds is like so important. And like people can change their mind. Like we are like put on this earth to like live and learn. And even like Tana Mojo, like I used to find her like really obnoxious and like insufferable and whatever. I think those are even like strong adjectives, but you know, not someone that like I resonated with. And then now like I'll see clips of her podcast, you know, on TikTok, and I'm like, this is a good take. Like she sounds like, you know, but like, of course, because she grew and she's human, and like we're also allowed to like change our opinions of people as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. My favorite thing about her is like, she'll like say something one week and then she'll come back the next week and take accountability and be like, you know what, that was fucked up actually, like, and I've learned from this. And like, and she does it all the time. So like you're watching someone be like very honest and upfront about their like views and opinions, and then go back and be like, take a step back and be like, you know what, I was wrong. Like, yeah. And that's a really brave thing to do, because like most people are just like not going to say anything, you know? So I don't know. I think it's cool to watch. Can I do it? We will see. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's not my natural inclination to do that.
Yeah. And like some people are meant to like share. Like I think Tana was one of those people. Like she's meant to like speak and share, and like that's what comes as authentic to her. And I think it's even like as content creators, like it is important to like push yourself outside your comfort zone, but I think to an extent, because when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, like if it's like yeah, I'd really like to make like outfit videos, like yeah, push yourself outside that comfort zone, but maybe don't like force yourself to like make a really hot take on like something that's like super controversial, because like maybe that's not your journey. Like maybe you're just not supposed to share that.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And you can also tell when it is a little bit like forced and unnatural if people are like trying to do that and trying to share. I don't know, at least for me, that's what I think. Because like I've had times like when I'm in a silly goofy mood and I just overshare, and like that works. And I have times where I'm like, I should be more vulnerable than I am, and I'm like, this is not only embarrassing, but like it just doesn't come across the way I think it's going to.
Have you ever recorded yourself crying?
Okay, so I never did. And then First of all, I love crying. I cry on every plane ride and in the airport. Like, I'm in my own movie. I get a drink at the bar. I'm listening to sad music. I was crying in the airport bathroom and I was like, I should video this. If I showed you, you would be like, girl, no. Yeah. But people that like record themselves crying and post it on the internet, for some reason, it looks so natural for them. Why? I'm like, yeah.
They're so brave.
I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Do that. But if I did that, people would be like,
what are you fucking doing?
Exactly.
So
exactly. But they can do it. Why can't I cry on the internet?
No, I've literally like recorded myself crying before, and then I'll look back and I'll be like, am I okay? And also, like, I don't know, it's like being a content creator is so interesting because I'm like, yeah, like, gotta be vulnerable on the internet, and then I'm also like, why the fuck would I share this? Like, I don't, like, it's an intimate like thing, like, it's almost, I don't know, crying is almost like sacred in a way, and it's like, I don't know. But there's the clips of me crying are going to stay locked deep in my fucking photo albums. And it's funny because, again, like, we have the content creation assistant and like, she has a couple, but she has some of Olivia. And dude, the other fucking day, she like posted one on Olivia's page and like, it was like Olivia crying. And then it like transitioned to like, I think it was like like videos of me and her. It was like a best friend trend, right? It was like, I'll be okay, I've got my girls. And it was like the first clip was her crying, and I fucking watched it and I was dying laughing because I knew she didn't make it. And so I like, we sent it in the chat and we were like, what the fuck? And she's like, well, the fucking clips are there to be used, you know? But it's just so funny because it's like, you'll be like chilling and then you'll see on your own fucking page, it's like you crying, and it's like, oh, well, it's a good trend, I guess.
Also, like, people will post videos of them crying and talking about something. So, like, for me, like, I make content when I'm in a good mood. And there are certain people that just make it all the time, no matter what. Like, if I'm thrown off emotionally, I cannot make a freaking, like, I can't get out of bed. No, same. So, and like, respect for that, honestly, to those people that do that, because no matter what mood they're in, if they're happy, sad, pissed, whatever, they're going to make content. If I'm sad or pissed, that's like the last thing on my mind.
Like, get that fucking phone out of my face.
Oh my God, no.
Like, no, I could never. No. I have to reschedule my entire day if I'm remotely sad or pissed off. Like, well, I also feel like particularly for you, like, you're a pretty like mellow person. So like if you are thrown off, like, yeah, it would be like hard for you to like, because it must be something pretty significant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it takes a lot for me. Like, I pretty much like let everything roll off my shoulder, like whatever. So if I get to that point, it's probably something that's like built up over a long time and now it's a whole thing. But yeah, no, it throws off like my whole week because I'm like so out of it. But I don't know, maybe these content creators just like, I don't know, let themselves feel their emotions every day and just roll with it and just keep going. Like, that's probably normal.
It kind of brings it back to that, like, do they have something we don't? Or do we have something that they don't? Like, is it a certain self-awareness? Or maybe are they not feeling their emotions and they're just like powering through? I do wonder. Not that any of it like matters, because we're going to consume the content anyways. And like, it's all love and it's all support. But I do wonder, like, what in it, like, how are you able to create content, like, when you're, like, like losing your mind? You know what I mean?
That's, like, a state of vulnerability that I don't think I have. And like I said, I wish I did, you know? Because, like, I, like, want to be real, but at the same time, like...
Being real is hard.
Being real is hard, and like I am real when I'm in a good mood. Yeah. You know, me being real is not posting when I don't feel like it, like, or when I'm sad or upset. Okay. But I will say, like, one thing about being a full-time content creator, it's like, it is, and I can recognize it's such a luxury to be able to be like, I'm having a bad day, I'm not working today. Like, other people don't get that. And I think about that literally all the time, and I'm so grateful for it. But I think that I should like treat it like an everyday job. Like, if I'm like upset or pissed or whatever, like, I think I should still power through that. Like, that is my job. Yeah. You know? And that's like a weird, I don't know, the whole like psychology of all this stuff is so weird. Yeah. It's very strange.
Like, I'm stoked for when the documentary comes out about like creating content and like, I don't know, just like even like the effect that it has on like other people. And like, I mean, it's already kind of come out, even like people speak about like how social media is a highlight reel all the fucking time. And it's so true. And like, because like you said, like you have the luxury of not creating content when you're not in a good mood. And like, but then again, and you're like, is it my job? I feel like your job is showing up authentically to you. And like, that's the privilege of the position. You know what I mean? And you also like, I don't know. I also feel like the vibration of like the energy that you bring, like, not to get all fucking woo woo, but like, why show up at a lower frequency? Because like, I don't know, I feel like it will come across. And like, I feel like we already get so much like negative energy through social media that like, if we can see someone like being happy and in a high frequency, then like, why not? I'd rather see that than kind of like see someone, I guess, like being pissed off or sad.
Yeah, that's true. And I think I do post videos sometimes like where I'll be like, yeah, I've been down the last couple of days, or like, I'm like feeling like shit, so let's do some stuff to make us feel better, or whatever. And I love that. And I do too. And I like seeing people, you know what I love actually? I love seeing people post and their room's a mess. Yeah. Like I need that because I'm a messy girly. You're a messy girly. Like I love that, you know? Yeah. So like, but you know what's funny? I like, if the background or something is messy, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I'm like, no, but you should. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I don't know, but you're right. But I love content creators that like I see every side to them, when they're happy, when they're sad, like whatever. Like, I don't know. I think it's cool, but that is a good point of you being like, I don't want to like put out negative energy if I'm down. Yeah. Like, let's spread the love and light. I mean.
Live, laugh, love. But I feel like that just about wraps us up. Yeah. I feel like we covered a lot of bases and we kind of hopped around quite a bit, but I feel like it was a great episode, and I'm so happy that you finally came on the pod.
Me too. I feel like I was on it a long time ago. Were you? Yeah, I remember I was in that house. It was with you and Olivia, and I was in that house that like Lauren was renting, and I was like on Zoom or something.
Have we already recorded together?
Mm-hmm. Like probably like 2 years ago now.
Oh yeah. And then we talked about like TikTok agency stuff, I think. Wow, dude, I like completely forgot. I thought this was like your first appearance. Then again, it feels so much different because one, like so much has changed, and two, we're in person. Yep. So that's so fun. But if you guys liked this episode, please take a screenshot, share on your stories, tag us, Socially Ambitious, tag at the Jessica Experience, and tag Kate at Kate plus 8 feet on socials. And love you guys, and see you next week.
Love y'all. Bye.